What's up everyone, I'm Gooshy, and in this video we'll be going over all the perks available for each class in Hood, Outlaws, and Legends. So without further ado, let's get into it. Something to note before we start is that although classes have 3 perk slots, there are specific perks that you can only equip in a specific slot. This means that each perk slot has its own pool of set perks. Alright, so starting off with the Ranger, in perk slot 1, the first perk is Reticent Recon. Gain bonus XP for killing objective carriers. Capture points are claimed faster and climbing is faster. However, extracting the chest is slower. Next is Volatile Gourd. This will give you an increased gear capacity. In your gear, the Flash Grenade is active for a longer period of time. The last perk in perk slot 1 is Focus Flight. Longshot kills with standard arrows fill the ability meter quicker based on range. Next in perk slot 2 we have Scavenger. Performing assassinations on guards and players increases the amount of ammo gained. Next is Bodkin Point. Charged arrows have increased speed and range but will break upon impact. Next is Razor Gauntlets. Robin's melee attacks deal more damage based on how much ammo you are carrying. Ammo held is reduced if your melee attack hits or is blocked. Next we have Tactical Quiver. Starting ammo and total capacity is increased but arrows will break upon impact. Finally, the last perk in perk slot 2 is Broadhead. Arrows will not break and have increased damage when charged. Weapon accuracy over short range is reduced, and quickfire shots deal less damage. Finally, in perk slot 3 we have Forceful Fighter. Melee attacks are more effective and cost less stamina to perform, but starting ammo and total capacity is reduced. Next we have Elemental Arrow. Ability arrows explode after shorter duration. Finally, we have Mercurial Arrow. Ability arrow explodes on impact, but its range is reduced. Next up we have the Hunter. In perk slot 1 we have Efficient Assassin. Gain increased XP for assassinations. They'll be quicker to perform and will refill the ability meter even faster. Next is Fortuitous Fatality. Following an assassination, the next evade will cost no stamina and this effect will persist through death. Also, perfect evades also increase melee damage for a short duration. Next is Roving Rogue. Crouch movement is increased, retrieving ammo from the environment is easier and provides additional ammo. Next we have Shadow Blanket. Increased gear capacity and gear effects, which is the smoke grenade, will last longer. Finally, the last perk we have is Coral Container. Starting ammo and total capacity is increased, bolts can be fired at a faster rate but will always break, and assassinations are performed slower. Next in perk slot 2 we have Territorial Thief. The ability meter is fully filled upon match start. Also, capture points are claimed faster but extracting the chest is slower. Next is Survivalist. Overall health pool is increased. Evading has increased distance and invincibility length, but costs more stamina. Also, invincibility is also active while sliding. Next is Veiled Menace. While crouching in a bush, deal increased range damage and the ability meter recharge is faster. Finally, we have Phantom Stalker. While the ability is active, Shroud visibility is reduced and crouch movement speed is increased. Finally, for perk slot 3 we have Silent Slaughter. While the ability is active, assassinations will replenish the ability meter and prolong its duration. Next is Refined Frame. Aim movement speed is faster, weapon accuracy, stability, and damage is improved, but recoil and recovery time between shots is increased. The final slot for perk slot 3 is Elusive Wish. The overall duration of the ability is increased, and performing ranged or melee attacks will no longer cancel ability early. Moving on to the Brawler, in perk slot 1 we have Dying Retaliation. Heavy attacks are performed faster when health is low, parry inflicts a stronger hit reaction, and you gain increased XP for killing enemy players. Next is Warcry. While your ability is active you deal more damage to guards and have increased damage resistance against state guard attacks. Next is Surging Smash. Sprint attacks deal increased damage in all scenarios, but cost more stamina to perform when the ability is not active. Finally, the last perk available in perk slot 1 is Charging Assault. Upon ability activation, sprint speed is increased and the overall duration is longer. Next in perk slot 2 we have Stable Tank. Increased overall health pool and blocking incoming damage depletes stamina less. Next perk is Sticky Explosive. Gear can be thrown further and stick to surfaces. Next is Amplified Explosives. Increased gear capacity and increased damage radius. Finally, we have Cargo Carrier. Carrying the chest is faster but emits more noise. Additional gold is spilled when the chest is dropped. Winching the chest is faster, but capturing points are slower. Finally, in perk slot 3 we have Enrage Infusion. Light attacks deal more damage, but assassinating players or guards fills the ability meter slower. Next is Relentless Strength. Ability meter fills when enemies' projectiles deal damage to you. You also gain additional ability meter when you parry an enemy projectile, but no ability meter is gained for blocking projectiles. Finally, the last perk is Rampaging Onslaught. More ability meter is gained for killing and assassinating enemy players than guards, but the ability meter resets upon death. Finally, we have the Mystic. In perk slot 1, we have Unwavering Faith. Gain additional XP for tagging and highlighting enemies' targets, and the passive ability, Recharge Time, is reduced. Next up is Pastoral Aid. This makes it so you're no longer affected by negative effects of your own gas. Winching the chest is faster, but capturing points are claimed at a slower rate. Next is Deep Rooted. Your ultimate ability discovers targets from farther distance away and lasts for longer. Finally, we have Innate Insight. The ability meter is fully filled upon match start and while active, revealing enemy players who are crouched. Next, in perk slot 2, we have Roaming Monk. Increased movement speed while crouching and sprinting, which also affects teammates while remaining in proximity of them. Next is Enhanced Elixir. Increased gear capacity, and gas is active for a longer duration. Then we have Suffocating Balm. This makes it so that gas drains enemy stamina even quicker. Finally, we have Medicinal Potion. Gas no longer drains stamina, but instead heals teammates instead. Finally, in perk slot 3, we have Sustained Growth. Light and sprint attacks are more effective and deal more damage, but have increased stamina cost. Next is Harrowed Scar. Deal increased melee damage while at full health. And finally, Vampiric Bludgeon. A percentage of your melee attack damage dealt to enemy players is absorbed and converted to health. Alright, so that's all the perks available currently in Hood, Outlaws, and Legends. I'm really excited to level up my character and create builds with all these different perks. If you found this video helpful, please drop a like and consider subscribing so you could keep up to date with all the videos that I post. With that, thank you guys for watching. Hope to catch you next one, and GG.